Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome or welcome back to Soaplore, the official gathering place for newbies, novices, and OG diehard fans of the golden age of prime time. I'm your host, Jed, viewing and reviewing the soapiest, sudziest primetime storylines of 1982. We are back on the West Coast, still doing the absolute most. It's time to tell the kids to play outside or out of sight. Tell babe no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 35 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, cool, quiet, or kicked out are your only options because we are discussing our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soaplore. Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soaplore. I hope your day is shaping up well. I hope we are all recovering from whatever ailments, whatever grievances you've had this week. This is the place to kick off your shoes, relax, enjoy your time as we delve in to the ooey gooey, delicious golden age of prime time. No question about it. I'm completely convinced, completely hooked. I'm your host, Jet, who is slowly working my way through all of the vintage primetime soap operas I never got to enjoy. We are back on Knott's Landing. You're probably like, Jet, this formula seems a little bit off. It is because here's how I'm putting this through. Real life is super busy. I think I'm finally at a place where I can sit and record like I'd like to. However, vintage primetime soap opera is not created equal. Some shows have shorter seasons. Some shows have longer seasons. I don't really understand why, but we're going to go with it because I trust the process by this point. So Falcon Crest and Knott's Landing are going to kind of be neighbors for a little bit until their seasons are done. We should finish about the same time. Dallas, I believe, has the shortest season, and then Dynasty will get all that together all at once. And for old time's sake, I still like comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. I want to know what you guys think of season 4 thus far, whether you're an OG or a newbie enjoying this. I am loving going through this with you guys. Because my schedule is I'm a little behind. So you're going to hear this a lot closer to the time I record it. You're probably going to hear this the very next day. I'm still going through some fan mail, i.e., I like to just call these are my friends. I picture us as I saw my aunt and her homegirls talking to each other over the fence like, wait a minute, did you watch this? Do you know something I don't know? Tell me all the tea. Don't give me any spoilers, but give me the tea because I love hearing this. It gives a lot of perspective to something that I still don't feel like I'm comfortable enough researching. I want to keep this as pure as possible. So far, so good. I've had a couple of people mention that they feel like Dawson's Creek might be a watered down version of Knott's Landing. I am not seeing that. I want to say I've had at least, I said a couple. I think there's 4 different emails and we've talked back and forth. I don't see that. Do you guys see that? I feel like, mind you, I don't remember all of Dawson's Creek, but not only it being a teen show, I think just the premise was, it's similar because we're all in the same town. We're all kind of sharing partners at some point, but I don't fully see it. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I'd also like to chat with you guys about the previous episode, which was a total and complete shocker. So you better believe I did everything I needed to do to make sure I had no spoilers on episode 12. I'm not saying that I was too harsh with Gary. That's not at all how I feel. I probably have a hot take. I don't see Val and Gary as a couple. I just don't. I'm going to say it. I understand we needed them to be a couple so that we can have this whole beautiful spinoff, and I'm glad it happened. However, let me just address the obvious first. Let me address the most recent information first. Up until this time, yes, we as the audience were privy to the fact that Abby was a little bit sweet on him. To me, this is my fault for not clocking this a little more. She seemed to be over that. Didn't really take Abby as a I'm into one person and one person only type of girl. I personally, Jet, did not take that seriously, and that's my own fault. However, I have never, not one time, thought that Gary gave a damn about Abby. Even in this episode, yes, he's very much more interested in her, but he's interested in her ideas. It's new, it's bubbly, it's bright, it's something he can kind of latch on to. Someone sees his vision, someone agrees with him. He seems very, very happy because of that. However, I'm like, I didn't really think he was into her at some point. And that's why in my mind, I didn't really give it an opportunity to fester. Granted, when she went and jumped in that front seat, when he was pretending to be Olivia's dad at the little, what was it, a daddy-daughter night, I thought it was messed up. Even though Lily Mae gave the warning, I didn't really heed it. I'm like, I could see Val's heart drop. And my stomach kind of dropped too. I think I chalked it. I don't know. I mean, I know she wants him. That's the thing. I think if a bad girl wants a guy, she's going to get him. I don't think there's very much you can do. The last episode pissed me off so much because it wasn't necessarily the passionate kiss. And let me be very clear. He was rubbing her up and down, like she was a genie in a bottle. So I'm not going to be like, oh, Abby put it on him. He got caught up in the moment is what it feels like to me, because up until then, he doesn't even seem to like her. I'm saying no interest whatsoever. She seems to be someone he can see through, is the vibe I've always gotten. But on this last episode, that kiss wasn't just it was a whole up and down. Like, it seemed like they were in a little bootleg barn for a minute. I don't like it. It's not just that, though. It's that he came back home and he gaslit Valine. Oh my God, are you jealous? You know something's going on. Now, granted, I understand human nature. You're going to want to protect your own butt. There's ways of protecting yourself without gaslighting her. And I think that brings me to my conclusion. Yes, he had an affair. Yes, he had that. We're all grown. You can get over those things. You can work through those things. There's many reasons why people do the things they do. For me, it's that the eggshell she needs to walk on for just the minimal amount of attention, respect, whatever, is not worth it. I am concerned that if Valine continues his path of trying to be whatever, his mother, his counselor, all these things that a wife could be, but doesn't necessarily need to be, for Gary, I think we're going to lose something very, very special. She's got the grit. She's got the know-how. She's country dumbing people. She doesn't miss a damn thing. She sees all of this. She's highly intelligent, kind of underneath this twang. There's something very special there, and I see it fleeting. I don't like that. And let's be real. We don't fully know Valine's backstory at this point. We sort of know Gary's. And I can be honest with myself and say, okay, I get it. This man has never been able to prove himself. He's been called everything but a child of God. And you know what? Damn it, he's a good businessman. He is smart. He's savvy. But we are getting to witness in real time his realization that he's willing, to wheel and deal and do things that are a little bit dirty. All the things he thought he hated about his family are the things he's having to battle. On top of that, he knows this woman has seen him at his very worst. She knows his history. She knows who he is at his worst. And that's got to be hard to face every day. I will give him grace this one time. Don't ever ask me to do it again, because I ain't going to do it. With Valine, we don't really know, other than her, tumultuous childhood, being completely and totally abandoned by anyone she's ever deeply loved, having her child ripped from her, but she pulled herself back from that. Mind you, no one helped her. She figured out a way to get back into Lucy's life, and then Gary was a bonus. I really think for her, she's trying to rewrite history, and sometimes you just got to drop that off exactly where it's at. I felt like she was getting stronger. She was kind of finding her footing. She was finding more purpose in Knott's Landing. You can see how fragile she is. You can see how important it is for her to have children. Ooh, I don't know. I'm saying all this to say I don't think them together, two people who are really discovering themselves, who are really growing, they're growing apart. It is as plain as day to me. They are growing apart. Dare I say it, meeting someone when you're 15 plus, 15 years old, this maybe was never going to be anything. I don't even think it's all that damn sad. I think I don't want to see my girl's heart drop kicked, but also I think staying there stagnant in this sort of underdeveloped form is never going to be what it could be. I think there's more of a valley. I don't know what, though. That's the thing I struggle with. It's very clear that Gary is good at his work. He's good at the things he does. Years ago, I worked at a bank with this girl who was raised in New Mexico. Her family had this farm, and she was a farm or ranch. I guess it was a ranch. And it was like this piece of pride for her dad, for him to point around as like, hey, look at what my girl can do. Rebecca can handle all these things. She does work. She's a smart girl. Her dad had also told her, you can have the family of a lifetime or you can have the work of a lifetime. Her dad did not believe in both. So to him, having this wonderful daughter who was really good on the ranch was secondary to the ranch. I feel like with Gary, it might be that same mentality. You can have the love of a life, or you can have this sort of career proving yourself that way. And if you look at Jock, I kind of see the same thing. Gary needs to prove all the love Valine can pour into him, all the love his mother has for him is moot if he can't prove to the world that he is a worthy man, that look what I can produce, look how smart I am, look what I can do. And that's not a bad thing. Damn it, I have a little bit of empathy for him this episode. Or last episode, I still don't like it. I still think something will pop off between he and Abby because Abby wants it. My mind always goes back to the whole Judy thing. Judy and he happened because she made him feel important. That's the thing. He kept that quiet. I feel like they had a whole, it wasn't just an up and down, rub me up and down, touchy-feely situation in the moonshine shack. Seemed like that was like let me think about this. Let me pretend to go find this man, but I'm really going up here to sleep with this woman. So I know it's in him. I think it's a little fresh, but the affair that is. My original point stands. I think this would be a great time. At least, if not now, in the very near future. I think Val and he are both growing. They're growing apart. Never really bought the love story. Let me be very clear, though. If their marriage dissipates because of this new, fresh affair, I'm going to lose my ish. This is Brenda and mother-loving Luke. Not Luke. This is the Brenda, Kelly, and Dylan thing all over again. It's so incredibly disrespectful. That is what I am upset about. If Val leaves on her own accord, fine. If Gary leaves on his own accord, fine. But what you will not do is gallivant secretly in front of or behind her back with this woman whose children she takes care of like they are her own. I will not become the nanny in my own love story. That's the part that's going to piss me off. It's irrelevant at this point. It really is. Hey, is Val still in school? I just realized I hadn't really seen her with any books or anything since Lily Mae told her it was kind of a waste of time. I hope she didn't heed that advice. This is what I'm talking about. You got to scrape some of these people off, Val. Everybody that comes in her life, she's shrinking back. Hell, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's summer. I just realized I hadn't seen her in school. She seems to be home a lot more lately. You know who else is not in school? Ginger. And that's what this whole episode sort of revolved around. Ginger and Kenny and baby two names and a little bit of heartbreak for Karen. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on the ins and out of BS relationships let me just calm down. It's just so messy. Someone else also kind of pointed out to me, they're like, is it the way that Ted Shackelford plays Gary that bugs you? I think there's always kind of there. I don't know. I like it, and I think I can understand that he's the strong, silent type. He's kind of quiet. He doesn't really say a lot, but I didn't find the other one pouty, but of course he wasn't there very long. It's something about him and Kenny that just kind of just hits me just just a little bit wrong sometimes. I will say on this episode, I had no problem with Gary whatsoever. I'm very curious as to what order they recorded all these. It feels a little bit like a season one of one of the other shows where they're just kind of throwing things up against the wall. Only there's a familiarity within it. And I guess that would be the case if we're just doing a show about people who live in a cul-de-sac. Now, there's not always going to be a bunch of excitement. Sometimes they're just doing mundane things or just living their lives with their neighbors. This episode opens up with Lily Mae and some fellas sitting at the card table. I will say I really enjoy, I hate to admit this because he's on my list, but I enjoy the way Gary enjoys Lily Mae. He gets a kick out of her. It reminds me of my cousin who's no longer with us. He just kind of this boyish grin. He would kind of get his mom riled up every now and again, and he just laugh. And I just miss that about him. And I see that in Gary's relationship with Lily Mae. It cracks me up. So they're out there playing cards. Ginger's in the kitchen with Val, who's holding a baby. Now I'm thinking she's holding a prop baby. To my surprise, Baby Two Names is a phenomenal actress. She likes Val. She doesn't seem to like her mother. This episode isn't all that deep, but it presents a really interesting question. So there's a guy at the card table, seems to be a pal of Richard's. Now, I don't know if he's one of the guys who was in the Hotel Motel Holiday Inn when all the hookers came running. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't really remember them like that. But he's over the house, and Karen shows up because Laura called her over. She's like, "Hey, what do you need?" And Laura's acting all dumb. It's very clearly a ploy to get Karen to come over so that she can meet this guy. Karen, for being a widow for less than a year, she has got half the way. She's had a lot of gentlemen callers. Am I right? Karen is hot stuff. She's out. She's a little irritated that nobody told her they were trying to set her up. And I don't know what the hell it is with pigtails on this episode. I'm assuming that was in vogue in 1981. It looks fine, but there are 2 sets of pigtails on this episode that are okay. If that's what y'all want to do, that's what I want to do. So Karen feels a little bit blindsided that when she walks in, there's this random new guy. It's very clear they're trying to set her up, and she's just like, okay, fine. Next time, just give me a little heads up. Give me time to think about it. Let me put on some lipstick and like a blouse before I show up, and we'll see where that goes. It could seem like they're pushing the ball a little bit too soon, but when you think about it, Karen's had at least 2 or 3 different people at her house at this point. So the gang seems to think she is open to dating. Through a series of very mundane dates and some tears in her bedroom, we find out that she isn't quite ready for that. She doesn't want to date anyone but Sid. She hasn't been on a date with anyone. She hasn't had like a real relationship since she's 21 years old. Excuse me. She hasn't had to build a new relationship since she's like 21 years old. She is charming enough. I will say this. If this was my friend, I would be eager to set her up with somebody too, because she comes off so strong. She seems like she's really got it together. She's fun. She's funny, but he's just kind of stiff. At one point she's crying in her bedroom, or Diana walks out wearing her silk blouse. And Karen's like, "Hey, stop wearing my clothes, take it off." Then she busts out crying on the bed. She's just not ready. That's the long and short of it. And it's interesting to see on this episode how her kids react. Diana, to my surprise, is like, "Mom, you're going to need to date at some point. It's okay. Like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's okay. You shouldn't really be alone. Like, you're a young mom. You have a whole life in front of you. No reason for you to spend it alone. Take your time, but go ahead and spend it with somebody. It's okay." Eric, the middle boy, after he talks to Richard's friend who works with them, he notices that he has this little 2-seater car. I forgot these kids and this family are probably a little bit traumatized. So Eric takes on the role of Sid, sort of like, "Okay, Mom, don't let him drive you too fast. Make sure you're home in time." He's more of the sort of father figure. He's okay with the dating. Just please be careful when you're out and about. Now the baby, Michael, is like, "Mom, we're fine. Like, we're finally fine. Do you really need to go out with someone? Do you really need to bring someone else into this?" So it's very interesting to see the family dynamic. I'm glad that they give each child like a different opinion, and everybody's right. She can definitely move on. It's only right. She shouldn't spend the rest of her life alone if she does not want to. She should be cautious. She should be careful with the men she chooses to date and their lifestyle, make sure that they kind of fit. And also they are okay. They are becoming okay with their new normal. Whoever she ends up with is going to have to be really, really special. This guy was kind of a stiff. I knew immediately he's way too uptight for her. This is never, ever, ever going to work. So at the same card game, Ginger and Valine are in the kitchen. Ginger's basically saying that I feel like she's a little bit bored. It seems like that before. She just wants to get out. And if you've never stayed at home with a kid or stayed at home with just take care of anyone, to mend a leg if you've broken it, or just needing to kind of be inside, it can be a little bit isolating, especially if you had a different routine before that. Ginger used to go to work every day. She's a kindergarten teacher, shaping the minds of the baby Gen Xers. And now she's at home with this baby. I would be very, very interested to know if teachers go through this. Teachers who are either working a full-time job and then decide to stay home, or the reverse. Ladies who've been at home for a little bit and decide to go back. I can kind of see Ginger's point as the episode goes on, but she's admiring Karen. She's admiring Laura. Like, look at them. They have something to do all day. She's adjusting to being Baby Two Names' mom, but ultimately I need something to do. Baby Two Names is kind of boring at this point, which is fair. She's a little bit sleepy, you know? So in the living room, somebody calls for Kenny over at, I guess they're at Laura and Richard's house. And he picks up the phone. Hello? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Well, tell her to wheel down there. She's got to work. It's over the top. And it's that thing that makes me think, what is he, Kenny? What are you? I don't know. It's something goofy about him. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. So he hangs up and he's like, well, my session singer isn't going to show up. What am I going to do? Sir, first off, you suck. You suck terribly. How are you a whole record producer, but you don't have a whole Rolodex of women dying to come, men or women, session singers, people dying to come in. But Richard called you one time and you've had 16 different flavors of hookers in 15 minutes, but you don't have singers and that's your whole profession? A little bit questionable. That's all I'm saying. Lily Mae hears him on the phone in duress and says, hey, well, what kind of music is it? He's not even thinking, well, it's kind of country. And then he catches himself. He's like, oh, no, I mean like it's modern. Someone says, well, hey, why don't you let Ginger sing it? Lily Mae is like, Ginger ain't no professional. Don't you want a professional singer? And you can tell Kenny is, he likes Lily Mae, but he ain't really trying to mess with Lily Mae like that. So there's a little bit of back and forth. Lily Mae's like, does she have, excuse me, I'm a professional. Has Ginger ever had a residency in Vegas? I don't think so. Has she traveled the world for the last 20 plus years? I don't think so. You need a pro. He immediately said, you know what, Ginger, that'll work. She goes into the session. She starts singing and she sounds pretty good. I think that's this girl's real voice. I think this is her real voice. She sounds clear. She sounds, she's convincing. She's doing all right. She likes it too. It's an incredible sight too. This dude's got a Bob Ross afro in the back. He is playing the hell out of that guitar. If he's not really playing that, I'm impressed. He's selling it very well. The dude sitting next to Kenny has a full-on Jerry curl. It is beautiful. I love it when shows put actors into positions that they would never be in real life. There's no way you're telling me Kenny could be a producer. He's biting his bottom lip. It's very, he is, I don't know what song he's bouncing to, but it's certainly in the one that Ginger's singing. But one of his coworkers comes in and he's like, hey, you found a real winner. And he's clearly impressed. Ginger's a beautiful woman. He tells her as much. Man, you got a great voice, pretty face. You could be hot stuff. You really should do this professionally. Oh my gosh, oh no, not me. Who, me? Kenny hears this. He's smart. He's intelligent. He knows what this whole music game is. So he slinks over and makes sure he plants a kiss and tells her how terrific she is, letting Andy know that this woman here is his wife. And she's off limit. Before long, Ginger starts thinking, well, Andy says I'm a good singer. He says I could possibly have a future. I want to go ahead and do this. Now, Kenny says, honey, If this had been before baby two names, this would be fine. I don't want baby two names raised by anyone but us. She's like, I know, Kenny, but it was so much fun. And everyone said I did so good. It was electrifying. It was wonderful. I really should do this. And he's like, well, sure, you can do it. I'll stay at home and be the baby daddy. Or, excuse me. I'll stay at home and be Mr. Mom. Kenny's whole thing is like, listen, we agreed that this baby was not going to be raised by a babysitter. So, let's keep your end of the bargain. She ends up making not a secret appointment. Let me rewind a little bit. The seed is planted in her mind. Hey, you could be a star, by Andy. His name is Andy Moore. He goes by Andy More or Less. She talks to Kenny about it. He says, no, we have a deal. You need to take care of the baby. So one day she goes through his wallet or his appointment book. She gets Andy's number. She has a secret meeting with Andy. I don't want to use the word secret. She just didn't tell him. She's literally may watch the baby, and she goes to talk to Andy, and she's like, listen, I am a stay-at-home mom currently. I have a fresh baby. My husband's not real crazy about me doing this kind of work. And Andy's like, you know what? He's not wrong. Honestly, like the amount of time that's going to be taken away, you're going to have to put so much into this. It's probably not the best idea. But, I mean, you're a grown woman. If you want to do that, cool. But Kenny hears about it later on, and he feels away because she didn't tell him. She's like, I didn't have a chance to tell you. The truth is, she's like, she wanted to have the meeting first, then fill him in on the good news and just let the chips fall where they may. So Kenny ends up seeking out a little bit of advice from Gary. Gary's like, hey, listen, I don't take sides, but to me, your wife seems bright enough to do whatever it is she wants to do. I'm sure if there's a way for her to be a mom and raise the baby the way you guys want to, she'll figure it out. If not, she'll figure it out. I hate that I agree with him, but I do. Now, on the other hand, Ginger goes and she talks to Valene about it. Valene's like, listen, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right off the bat, I'm biased. My mom was in and out, gone all the time, chasing this dream. Chasing the dream takes a lot out of you. You got to really make a decision on how you want to do this. So, Kenny stands as a staunch believer in mothers aren't singers, which is a little bit ridiculous, but I understand what he is saying. Perhaps if you're a more established artist, it's probably a little bit easier, but on the come up, it's going to be a lot of work. We all know women make things like this happen all the time, but neither one of them are wrong. She wants to explore this new thing, and yes, I think it's just because she's been in the house. I think she's a little bit bored. This is a new role. The baby doesn't really need a lot of her attention, especially as a woman probably especially someone who taught school all day. She basically, took care of 25-year-old children. 5-year-olds are basically just sophisticated toddlers. They still need help with a lot of things. So this is probably easier because her baby's pretty chill. Either way, by the end of the episode, they have like this one last sort of duking it out thing. He's like, honey, I'm finally on the up and up. I'm about to start making big, crazy money. My song's picking up. Like, I'm going to be so busy. I've finally worked my way up. This is what we wanted. Don't you want to stay home with baby two names? You have this beautiful house, this beautiful baby. What more could you want? And she says something very important. Very poignant. She said, you have the same baby, you have the same house, and it's still not enough for you. So please don't look at me crazy when I want a little bit more. Fantastic point. So good, in fact, the last scene we see is her in the studio singing out this 80s rock country anthem. Lyrics escape me, but she sounds pretty good. I suppose the full takeaway of this entire episode, whether you're talking about Karen, whether you're talking about Gary and Val, who were not in this like that, wasn't even about them, or whether you're talking about Ginger and Kenny and chasing dreams, you're always going to miss something you love, whether that's a person, whether it's a career, whether it's your freedom. You're going to miss something that you really, really care about always. It does not mean that you need to stay in that place. Ultimately, you're the only person who can make the decision to move forward or stay put. That's kind of the long and short of it. It was good to see Karen and her family really going through the stages of grief. They're really taking their time with it. They're having the right conversations. I'm really glad because right after Sid, they weren't all really expressing themselves, but it seems like they got a really good rhythm. Like I said, all of them are right. All of them are correct. Also, did you guys know that Kenny and Ginger had a kitchen? It's the first time I ever saw their kitchen. The early 80s colorway is always going to be questionable to me. I really don't get it. But their kitchen reminded me of the kitchen in Problem Child. Not entirely, but it's like that terracotta brick color, those small tiles, and then they have like mint green. Ugh. Doesn't matter. First time I ever saw their kitchen, I found it noteworthy. That was really about it on this episode. This season seems like obviously they're popular enough. There's a familiarity there, but they are trying a lot of different stories. I'm not mad at it. I'm especially enjoying all the musical numbers. I was not expecting that at all. I wonder if they did season soundtracks. You know how you can go to a movie and they have a soundtrack? I wonder if they did that for TV shows. Because this one, I think we got 4 original songs already. All right, guys, that's enough jaw jacking. I hope you will join me next time as we jump back into another incredible piece of vintage primetime soap opera debauchery. In the meantime, in between time, be as good at your job as you are at being a scumbag. Please don't have more hookers on your Rolodex than you do singers if you are a song producer. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your business, and keep all of your drama on TV.